This is the LG GW620 InTouch Max smartphone from LG. It's a new Android phone, it's a touchscreen phone, and so as you can expect from a touchscreen phone, it looks pretty much like every other touchscreen phone. There's not really very many buttons at the bottom, just the home, back, and just a navigational key, and then you've got your obligatory touchscreen here. It's only a small touchscreen, only 3 inches in size, but then that's because the InTouch Max is actually aimed at the budget end of the market. It's a budget smartphone. Looking at it from the outside then, it's just your average smartphone, but one good thing about it is, although it's not the thinnest phone on earth, at the same time it's not huge. If I just compare it with the original Android phone, the T-Mobile G1, you can see, in fact, it's a lot thinner. In fact, whichever way you look at it, it's a smaller phone. Other features of the InTouch Max, if we look around it, standard USB slot. A good thing is the use of the 3.5mm standard headphone jack. There is the obligatory 5 megapixel camera, complete with LED flash, and there's a micro SD card. Now, aside from all that, which you'd expect from pretty much nearly every phone these days, one of the other good things of the LG InTouch Max is the keyboard. It's a physical keyboard, full QWERTY, and it's actually extremely good to use. What have LG done with their InTouch Max? Well, not actually a lot. This is the wallpaper that I've provided on the back, but as anyone who's used an Android phone can tell by the clock, they've not exactly gone to town with terms of designing their own user interface. In fact, if we look at the overall icons that you get on the menu and compare it with the original G1s, yeah, there's not a lot of difference there, is there? In fact, if you compare the camera icon of the original G1 with the camera icon of the LG, what you'll find actually is that the new LG icons are actually worse than the stock Android icons. So if anything, you kind of wonder why LG even went to the trouble of designing their own new icons. That said, Android itself is an extremely usable operating system, so the fact that they haven't gone to town with the user interface means, firstly, that they're able to keep the costs down because they haven't had to actually indulge in any software development, but also that the phone itself is extremely usable. Android is a good mobile operating system. So in terms of demonstrating it, I mean, if you've ever used an Android phone, then none of this is going to come as a particular surprise to you. But I guess what you want to see is how usable it is, what the actual browsing is like, how intuitive and responsive the user interface is. So I'll just demonstrate a few things. Here's the, here we go. Here's a browser. So if I just go to, let's see, how about mobilementalism.com. Just off the top of my head. So, same as the Android browser of any Android phones, really. And as you can see, it all loads up extremely quickly. Now, this is using Wi-Fi because there's no SIM in it at the moment, so obviously it is going to download quite quickly. However, the InTouch Max uses 7.2 megabit HSDPA for its 3G connection. So even if you're downloading data over the mobile network, you're still going to get fast downloads, which is very, very good to see. Now, my webpage, as I'm sure any of you have used it, my website rather, it's not exactly small. Because of the use of images, there's a lot of CSS, etc. It's actually quite a heavy web page. Yet, as you can see, it's downloaded extremely quickly on the InTouch Max, and the 3-inch screen means it's all very easy to use. As you can see, I can slide it around extremely easily. There's no problem with the browsing whatsoever. It's all extremely easy to use, and is actually, well, it's just great. I can't see you having a problem with this. So if you need a smartphone for browsing the web, and you want a smartphone that's quite small and cheap and fast and even responsive, you're not going to have a problem with this actually, which is really good to see given that it's really, really cheap. You've got the similar things that you have with Android. You've seen me sliding it around. Another good thing that you can do, because of the amount of available downloads that you can have, you can integrate it with many of the Web 2.0 services out there, for example. So that means Evernote, Remember the Milk, Delicious, Twitter, Facebook. All those applications and more aren't just able to be downloaded easily. Oh no, that's interesting. Why have I got a database error? Sorry, that's just an aside. My server seems to have crashed. But But anyway, all of these things I just mentioned, all of these Web 2.0 bits and bobs that are out there, you can actually download as applications onto your InTouch Max and then use them integrated into the service. So for example, if you wanted to tweet out a particular link to a site that you'd seen, you can do that very easily. Same if you wanted to bookmark a web page with Delicious, for example, you can do that with just a couple of clicks. So that's extremely good, easy to use, extremely good. Google Maps is pretty much as you'd expect Google Maps to be. Again, it's nice and intuitive to use. If you've ever used Google Maps on Android, well, this is what you get. It's very easy to use, it's all very intuitive, and you can slide the map around very nicely indeed. Obviously you can get latitude on here and all the different Google features that you want from your map if you wish. Pretty much anything you want. I've not got Buzz on here or anything like that, but that's all available to you as well. Google Goggles, all of that is available for you if you want. In terms of other features that we've got, the camera, like I say, is a 5 megapixel camera. It's also a video recorder as well. Now the thing with the camera, the 5 megapixel version, I'll go into the gallery and show you some of the pictures. I'll also upload some of them as well. It's 5 megapixels. If I just go into the gallery and show you some of the things that you've got with this, the actual images that it takes do seem to be rather good. This is the gallery of it that you can use. Just pop that up. There's a nice timeline on the left, so you can sort your pictures by time. You can select which picture that you want to see. If I just do this, obviously accelerometer, so you get everything nice done automatically for you. Sliding the images around, they're not necessarily that smooth, but you've got to keep in mind this is a very cheap phone. So again, it's extremely easy to use. So you can zoom into your pictures, zoom out. The quality of the pictures does seem to be very good. I've not had a chance to check them on the PC yet, but hopefully I'll upload some shortly. But the quality of the pictures does seem to be very good. So it's 5 megapixel camera, certainly seems to be quite usable in pretty much most conditions. The video camera, however, if I just play this in the media player, now it does record video, but it's not great quality. It's usable quality, which I guess is the best thing that you want. I mean, okay, so it's a cheap smartphone, so you're not going to expect much to begin with, presumably. But if you were looking for a smartphone with better video recording, you might want to choose one of the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10 that's just come out. Because the LG InTouch Max is not going to focus heavily on video. That said, you can play YouTube videos from there and it is perfectly usable, and I guess that's pretty much what you can say about the overall experience of the LG InTouch Max. Before I conclude then, a couple of things to point out. You've got Quick Office built in, so you can view Microsoft Office programs and documents like Word, Excel, spreadsheets, etc. If you pay for the upgraded version, you can actually edit them within the phone itself, which obviously with the keyboard is going to make it extremely easy to use. There's a very simple media player which lets you also edit your videos with the video editing function down there as well. Not really that useful. But then you've got the Moxia applications, and these will let you connect through to Microsoft Exchange. So if you want to browse your work's email, then you can do that through this, which is a very nice touch as well. In addition, of course, you've got Google's Gmail and the like, and pretty much everything else you need. So the long and the short of it then, the LG InTouch Max GW620 smartphone, it's not the world's most feature-rich smartphone. LG certainly haven't gone out of their way to customize this in any great way, shape or form. However, for the price, it's extremely good value. If you're looking to get your hands dirty into the smartphone world, if you're interested in Android and you just want to test the waters, for example, you're after a cheap smartphone, honestly, I think you'd be hard pushed to do better than this at the moment. The HTC Tattoo, it has to be said, has the better interface, without doubt. But if it's a QWERTY keyboard smartphone that you want, honestly, I can't see you getting a better one than this, certainly not for Android, for the money at the moment. So, as an Android smartphone, it's not brilliant, but for the price, it's an absolute bargain. So from that reason, strongly recommended.